at this point, everyone knows Diddy's done.
He's literally in jail right now. He's denied bail. You know, Diddy's famous lines, take that, take that. I don't know what's going on in jail right now, but...
He would brag about how much of an untouchable he is because everybody fears him. That's what this guy felt he was. That's a man that doesn't fear God. That's a man who wants to be God. And when you flirt with wanting to be God, let me tell you, there's only one thing around the corner for you.
The only people losing are the mainstream media and the people that are pulling the strings. Now, speaking of, why don't we go ahead and peek behind the curtain of this whole Diddy enterprise and let's see who else could be charged in this Diddy investigation. All right, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said more people will be charged in connection to the federal indictment against Sean Diddy Combs. According to the federal prosecutor, they are not done and that he can't take anything off the table, so anything is possible. He also said that their investigation is very active and ongoing, so developments are certainly foreseeable. I mean, we're talking about a whole Diddy.
The freak-off sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics.
In LA and Miami Beach were also raided earlier in the year. Agents say they found high-powered weapons, ammo, and 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube.
They just, you know, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
yeah. Cat Williams called it 2024 is the year of evils being revealed. I mean, we're seeing it right now as Sean Diddy Combs was indicted on charges of racketeering, conspiracy, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in. And so now the question that we're going to answer is, who did Diddy piss off exactly? And who are the other big names that are involved in this?
He's a public figure, very high profile. Yes, that's a big enough name. I don't believe all of this is happening because it's just Sean P. Diddy Combs thereafter. I believe thereafter others as well.
They're not just coming for Diddy, Pat. Okay, this is, you guys heard it, feds and Homeland Security, okay?
You're calling yourself and you're saying, oh man, it's just you and Diddy and an imaginative conversation that you're having. Because you know that he's got the tape of what she did.
Now, mind you, I'm pretty sure you guys have all seen these videos that are just surfacing from Diddy. This is Diddy of him at a party and what he does to his guests at his parties. Check this one out. Look what he does. Look at him, Adam. Is this during the sun? The sun is out.
Ladies and gentlemen, for all those in London that don't know what happens to the white man when he comes to a P. Diddy party, this is what happens to the white man.
Look. That guy is just
so unfortunate. And that's James from Simeon Mobile Disco. He's
putting people on blast.
DJs aren't supposed to pass out, but when they come to one of my parties, this is what happens to them.
Oh my goodness!
So imagine those politicians, the athletes. LeBron's partied there many times.
Oh,
the
he's hung
celebrities,
out with
the
Barack
pastors,
Obama and everybody.
Exactly.
A federal judge is now refusing to grant Sean Diddy Combs bail. Instead, he's going straight to jail.
He's currently locked up in the same federal jail that once housed R. Kelly during his trial. Combs appeared in court Tuesday and pleaded not guilty to all of the charges. However, the judge denied his bail, which means this week may very well be his last as a free man.
Now, guys, I think it's a wake-up call for everybody. People need to stop worshiping the singers, rappers, and actors. This is how you get evil millionaires and billionaires thinking that they can pretty much get away with everything. But seriously, guys, apart from his billions of dollars and extremely high net worth individual,
and he's a big enough name. He's worth over $400 million.
Diddy must have had some very powerful connections to pull off this enterprise that he had going on, allegedly. And not to insinuate anything or whatever, but there's actually been some buzz about Kamala Harris's tweet in which she thanked the now disgraced rapper Sean Diddy Combs for hosting a fundraiser for her first presidential campaign. That's right, guys. This was during Kamala Harris's first run for the White House after P. Diddy, aka Sean Diddy Combs, hosted a town hall on racial inequity for her campaign. The then candidate tweeted on April 10th, 2020, "Thank you, Diddy, for hosting this town hall last night. There's a lot at stake for our communities right now, and it's critical that we bring to the forefront how coronavirus is perpetuating racial inequality and health disparities." So the tweet resurfaced on X just as Combs was ordered held without bail pending a trial, leaving some social media users saying how Kamala's tweet really didn't age well. Now, another commenter referenced Kamala Harris's favorite phrase, "what can be unburdened by what has been." But instead of that, the commenter changed it to "unburdened by past support of Diddy." Another one went even shorter and asked Kamala, "Did you bring the baby oil?" So yeah, definitely not a good look for Vice President Kamala Harris and the Democratic President presidential nominee or candidate. I gotta say, guys, especially when you consider what they said in the indictment. So in the 14-page unsealed indictment, Sean Diddy Combs was accused of luring female and male workers into drugged up, often days-long performances that they called freak-offs. So basically, the women would be seduced under the pretense of a romantic relationship and then plied with drugs in a bid to keep them obedient and compliant.
This is yesterday, 50 Cent. Here I am, keeping good company with the Drew Barrymore TV show. And I don't have 1,000 bottles of lube at the house. 50 Cent was referencing the over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and personal lubricants for the freak-offs that the indictment revealed were allegedly found during the raid of Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami.
The indictment also revealed that officials discovered 1,000 bottles of lubricant and baby oil, as well as 3 AR-15s when Combs' mansions in Miami and Los Angeles were raided in March. As you guys can imagine, the bottles were allegedly used for the freak-offs, during which Diddy allegedly hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims at times by the hair. He would even go so far as allegedly threatening victims' careers and livelihoods if they refused to participate in the so-called freak-offs. And seriously, guys, as appalling and disgusting as all of these allegations sounds already, we may just be scratching the surface of this depravity. I mean, Diddy has been slapped with a whole slew of lawsuits over the past year by people who allege that he subjected them to physical or even abuse during the height of his fame as a producer in the 1990s and the 2000s. In the 99 and the 2000s. Any juvenile fans out there? Anyway, meaning that the cockroaches are starting to scatter here. And guys, Diddy's name may not be the only one that ends up being involved here. I mean, just take a look at what the Warner Music Group did. The Diddy affiliated company is cleaning house, starting from the very top, as hip-hop music industry vets confirmed that he's resigning from his Warner Music Group executive VP gig. On Tuesday, Lies sent the company memo announcing his resignation as chairman and CEO of Warner Music's 300 Elektra Entertainment chairman, passing the torch to seasoned vets Brianna Bass, Selim Bob, and Greg Nadell. Lies has been with Warner since 2004, which formerly housed Diddy's Bad Boy Records. And more importantly, he's been vocal defending the mounds of allegations against Diddy. Now, according to TMZ's interview with Lies back in April, he never knew the Diddy who got plastered in the media after all the allegations made in numerous lawsuits. And so that's why the music exec stuck by him. And now, Lies is leaving, and sources very close to the situation, they're telling us his exit could directly be tied to a massive shakeup happening at Warner. The move follows the impending departures of Max Lusada, the company's longtime head of recorded music, and Atlantic Recording Group chairman Julie Greenwald, who has been in top roles at the company for some 20 years. Yikes. Talk about some heads rolling. And these are some big heads, by the way. I guess the company is getting ahead of whatever else is going to be coming out of this whole Diddy case, huh? Now, considering what's happening right now with Warner and Diddy's very close relationships with leaders of the Democratic Party, who else could be charged in this Diddy investigation? I mean, Diddy's going to have to come up with some bigger names than his if he wants any chance of getting a reduced sentence or maybe a plea bargain here, right? And so that's what we're going to do here in the second half of this video, guys. So sit tight. Just a quick reminder, because I do want to talk about the bigger heads that are about to roll here. A lot of them you're probably gonna know. Hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Definitely helps out big time in getting our content across to more like-minded people. Plus, you guys get to stay updated on our latest content. It's totally a win-win. Well, here's former NYPD Rap Intelligence Unit Derek Parker talking about it with Fox News' Jesse Waters.
Narcotics and things like that. These things happen in this business. It's out there in the hip-hop world. I mean, I've come along a lot of cases where I've had rappers involved with drugs and guns and things like that. So I'm not surprised by that. But the government took a big step in waiting on this to come out and do this. They had this planned. Believe it or not, this is planned. I think even tonight, Diddy's girlfriend, Young Mommy, was caught distributing drugs. So she's been labeled as indicated in the federal report as supplying drugs. They count and paying people off. So this is only the start of this investigation. Your search warrant, now this comes out, now there's going to be other things that's going to come out.
Why do you think the feds waited this long? Because this has been going on, according to these complaints, for a long time. What triggered this? Did he cross someone?
Yes. What happens is that the feds have developed cooperators, people that were affected by him or had some ties with him where they had some criminal activity, and they came forward and they give information. So the feds wanted to go in and they wanted to gather everything they could so they can present a tight case, and that's what they're doing right now.
This is going to be a tight case, we're hearing.
I read a book a long time ago, and it basically said something that was really powerful and profound to me, and it said something along the lines of, look at your 5 closest friends, and typically your income is an average of your 5 closest friends. Now, with that being said, I was kind of like thinking, okay, well, how do I find people who made way more than me so I could increase my chances of having a higher income? I mean, it only made sense, right? For less than a cup of coffee a day, for less than $1 a day, join a powerful network of people who are ready to change their lives for the better. And I will be putting a limit on this group, so get in while you can. Be positively motivated by others who are also on the same pursuit. So I'm going to leave a link for you guys so you can join me over on the Life Pursuit Network in the description down below this video. So check it out, guys, and let's not be a victim of this great wealth transfer that is taking place right now. It just kind of makes you wonder, right? Judge Jeannie Pirro, she talked about it as well. She focused on how the case is basically unwinnable with everything that they have against the rapper in this particular sex trafficking case. Don't take my word for it, guys. Here, check it out.
What you have is Sean Diddy Combs, who's running a criminal enterprise out of his own business, using employees and security from his business, which kind of accounts for the racketeering. And he was trafficking women from one state to another for illegal purposes. He was also abusing them. He was using guns and forcing them and intimidating them to engage in various sexual activities. And as Alexis just said, I mean, there was always this threat of, I'll ruin your career or I'll take money from you. But at the same time, there was far more violence and simple threat of taking money away from them. We saw in that video, and I will bet you dollars to donuts, that there are many videos like that. They did a search warrant of both his homes in Miami and on the West Coast.
He was videotaping these freak-offs.
These freak-offs that went on for hours, that women were beaten during these things, and they had to give them IVs to recuperate. And they would have literally 1,000 bottles of lubricants so that they could use them during these videotaped freak-offs. I mean, this is the kind of case where you can rest assured that when the United States Attorney says, we want more victims to come forward, that they're going to get them.
Think about him, the comparison with him and Epstein, right? Here's a story. Meet Sean Diddy Combs as manipulator-in-chief who was once compared to Ghislaine Maxwell.
They called him the Black Epstein.
Let me read this to you.
Find that picture.
Christina Karam, chief of staff at Combs Enterprises and described as Diddy as his right hand, is alleged to be the manipulator-in-chief in federal investigation as close source claims she knows everything about Combs' alleged sex trafficking activities. Although she's not been arrested or charged, the federal indictment accuses Combs of using high-ranking supervisors to facilitate and cover up the abuse, with Karam allegedly organizing freak-offs involving sex workers and raids on Diddy's mansions, seized narcotics with over 1,000 bottles. In a separate lawsuit, Little Rod, Karam is compared to Ghislaine Maxwell, to Sean Combs, Jeffrey Epstein, and accused of ordering sex workers for Combs. Little Rod also alleges she made staff carry drugs for Combs.
Now, the other panelist on the show, Kennedy from Kennedy Saves the World podcast, he talked about how Diddy controlled people through fear.
What created this monster?
What created this monster was fear. So if you talk to people who worked for him, there were always rumors about what he was participating in. And even if people didn't see it, there were always threats and there was always coercion. Even if they didn't directly witness the freak-offs, which, you know, I think we all need a hazmat shower in order to scrub our brains from just the inference in this indictment. But people had heard that he would beat people up. He would have people beaten up. You know, there were rumors that he had had people killed. In the indictment, it talks about arson, and he's charged under the California Penal Code with arson in addition to the racketeering and coercing people into prostitution. And it wasn't just women that he was moving across state lines and international lines. That's part of it as well. There were men involved in this, and one of the alleged male victims came forward and filed one of the civil suits that we had read about that led to the raid in March. And so what federal investigators did from multiple law enforcement agencies was they went to his homes in Los Angeles and Miami, and they combed through everything. And, you know, they found, according to the indictment, much more evidence about the kind of thing that was alleged in these civil suits that did, when they put it all together, and they really took their time since March. You know, it's been 6 months since that dramatic raid in those 2 homes. They put it together into a document that is incendiary, but it also makes you wonder, how did someone escalate to those heights after being lauded as an incredible entrepreneur and self-made businessman who really etched out his part of the music industry to the point where he was seen as an untouchable legend? So how did someone like that, you know, who was on par with Dr. Dre and Jay-Z, how was he operating in this way and being so sexually violent with people and threatening to kill them and ruin their lives and ruin their careers?
He's getting away with it, and then escalating it more.
Empire here, you guys. Prosecutors allege that the rapper used the resources of his music empire to create a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. They also accuse him of having used his employees to help him engage in these activities. Richard Schoenstein, a trial attorney and legal analyst, agrees and said that he definitely thinks more is coming. Because as he points out, the indictment said that he did all these things in conjunction with other people, but it doesn't name them. It does not name the co-conspirators. So there has to be more down the road. So what they're looking forward to here is who will become a defendant, who becomes a witness, and who becomes, or who actually comes forward as a witness cooperating. His associates are probably very concerned right now. As the attorney explained, the indictment alleges his associates helped him commit heinous crimes. So if you're one of those associates, you got a lot to think about on how you're going to go about participating in this investigation. And unlike Jeffrey Epstein and Weinstein, this isn't just going to go away. I mean, we've barely gone 24 hours after unsealing the indictment, and we've already gotten so much already. I mean, for starters, by charging him with a racketeering conspiracy, prosecutors have put front and center that Combs did not act alone. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams pretty much said it very plainly at a press conference announcing the charges on Tuesday. And unlike Epstein and Weinstein, Combs' case has the feds outright alleging a conspiracy with the apparent goal of enticing Combs' alleged co-conspirators, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors of his companies to avoid their own criminal liability. Meaning, everybody in Diddy's orbit was put on notice. And it sure was one heck of a notice. According to the prosecutors, the breadth and volume of the evidence in the Combs case goes far beyond what we typically see in sex crimes prosecutions. From what I've read so far, guys, the prosecution has revealed what they have on Diddy, and this includes 90 cell phones, laptops, cloud storage accounts, 30 other electronic and storage devices such as hard drives, thumb drives, cameras, surveillance systems, through which prosecutors confirm that they have images and videos of the various Diddy freak-offs. 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, 2 of which were found in his bedroom closet, and 6 additional lawfully obtained guns. Documentary evidence obtained through 300 grand jury subpoenas, including materials from over 100 entities and individuals, including communications providers, tech companies, social media companies, banks and other financial institutions, airlines, hotels, car services, and other travel-related companies, escort services, even the defendant's companies and wealth management firms. Yeah, that's a whole mountain of evidence that Diddy's gonna have to dig himself out of, so I gotta say. And to add to that, the prosecutors seem to be taking their lead from one of the victims, actually. So last November, Combs' former girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, best known by her stage name as Cassie, filed a 35-page civil lawsuit against him in the same Manhattan federal court, where he now faces charges seeking compensatory and punitive damages for the sex trafficking, sexual harassment, sexual battery, and other gender-based violence that she allegedly experienced at his hands. Sure, Ventura does not appear by name anywhere in the indictment, but when you compare Ventura's lawsuit to the prosecutor's public filings, you see how the prosecutors found her and her narrative compelling. Basically, all the details and depravities in the Diddy indictment were brought to life by Ventura's very vivid complaint against the rapper. So yeah, this is already blowing up on social media and the headlines, and that's saying something considering it's just a few weeks away from the presidential election. Now, honestly, guys, the only headline that could really top this one would be if a candidate were to be suddenly involved in this whole Diddy enterprise. Now, I'm not confirming anything here, but if I were a betting man, I would put my money on the Democratic Party being involved in this somehow. I mean, Diddy has been seen and even photographed to be close with the past presidential candidates. Then, of course, there's that Kamala Harris tweet too. So yeah, if there were a political party involved in this, Democrats would probably be the obvious suspect. Does that surprise you in any way? Now, again, this is just me thinking out loud, guys. So don't quote me on that, but hey, let me know what you guys think. Should we expect another bombshell headline coming out from this Diddy news? Drop a quick yes or no in the comments, guys. We'll circle back to this one in another update soon. Just make sure you guys are subscribed and have your notification bell turned on so you don't miss it. Now, speaking of, make sure you've watched our other video on presidential debate and the affidavit from an ABC staffer alleging that the whole thing was rigged in Kamala Harris's favor. More details in that video, so definitely check it out. Just hit my channel, go to videos. You can check that one out after this one. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hitting the like button and subscribing. I'll see y'all next time.